Edie, where's my jelly?
I'm waiting for you to make the call.
Aren't you even gonna shave?
I always do.
Motel Hell is a movie about a hotel that sells sausages made of people who have been planted in the garden. The plot doesn't really make any sense or even attempt to explain itself, and the characters behave equally as dumb. It's fucking amazing. Oddly enough, Motel Hell was originally going to be much darker, opposed to the dark comedy that we got. The thing is, it went from being a Universal product to a United Artists product, resulting in the film's tone changing a lot with it. Despite it not being a huge success, it did receive a cult following, and personally, I'm okay with the way it turned out. Given the plot at hand, it makes sense why this would be a better direction to go in, and even though this is in fact a dumb movie, it might just be dumb enough to be entertaining. Or maybe even so bad it's good. And considering the fact that a lot of crazy, unexplainable shit goes down, it seems likely it'll be one of those two outcomes. Well, time has come to find out, as there's not really much more to say about it, so let's analyze Motel Hell, and see just how good a bad and or dumb film can be. We open with Farmer Vincent Smith sitting outside Motel Hello, I see what you did there, who appears to be heading out for a bit of hunting. And at the same time, a couple on a motorcycle, Bo and Terry, just so happen to be in the exact same location. What are the odds? And they've managed to wreck too. I sure hope Vincent doesn't have anything sinister planned. Well, I'm not sure about Bo, but Terry's definitely not dead, so he takes her back to the hotel. We're introduced to his younger sister, Ida, who's confusing as far as the plot's concerned, and Vincent says they must ensure the girl doesn't die. If you know anything about the movie, you might be wondering why that is exactly, but it might be explained. Maybe. The next day, we see some customers raving about their amazing smoked meat as they send their kids to play outside.
What's in there? I dare you to look. Dares go first.
Since when? I mean, the definition of dare is that you do it. They're easily scared off, though, by a basic jump scare in which they literally won't stop screaming. But luckily, Vincent has that covered. What the fuck was that? Good to know, I guess. We then meet Vincent's younger brother, Sheriff Bruce, which will surely lead to a scene that is, you know, normal. Or not. I'm curious to why she was holding a meat cleaver. At the same time, Terry wakes up and is informed that Bo is dead. She's not too happy about the body already being buried, but apparently that's just the law there.
Ma'am, in this county, under, extenuating circumstances, it's okay.
Yeah, but it's only been a day. What the fuck kind of law is that? Later on, a veterinarian health inspector shows up for a surprise inspection and notices something odd. Trees. And a door. Must investigate. The investigation doesn't really get him anywhere for the time being, so let's cut back to Terry, see if she knows what's going on.
I'm so confused. I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. They tell her that since she's still alive, it must be preordained, and oddly enough, she's okay with that. Like, immediately.
Yeah. I guess you're right. I feel good here.
Shit, talk about a radical mood shift. This isn't even the crazy part yet. Meanwhile, the health inspector continues his investigation into the bushes and finds... Why, it's Bo, along with a lot of other people who seem to have been planted in the ground and had their vocal cords severed. Not too surprising at this point. This proves to be a bad idea though, so let's cut to whatever the fuck this is. I like it. Pretty catchy. It could be in a Cheech and Chong movie. It'd be a good fit. They end up getting caught in Vincent's trap, and we get to see just how this process is done. That being the burying of the bodies, the removal of the vocal cords, the fact that this is what the famous meat is made of, but one thing isn't explained.
Well, you know as well as I do, it takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent fritters.
Well, yeah, they never actually make fritters, despite this same slogan being on the cover, but aside from that, how exactly does this work? I mean, we see the whole process take place in detail, they just forgot to show us why they plant them in the ground. It does seem rather pointless. But then again, I don't think you turned on this movie to have things make sense. I mean, just look at the next scene. Not only do they casually discuss their consumption of the family dog,
She knew she was eating a dog?
Well, Granny never put any distinctions on any of God's creatures.
but then Ida, for some reason, tries to tell her what they've been doing.
She's telling me why the meat tastes so good.
It's because he mixes the pork with
And apparently, this isn't concerning at all. To anyone. This is only the beginning too, believe me, it gets a lot crazier. Bruce invites Terry to a drive-in movie, and we do see a bit of the feeding process, but then again, they say the band that they just captured will be ready the next day. Which doesn't make any sense because they just planted them the previous day, and they seem to have given them all the same amount of food, and why am I trying to make sense of this? Bruce then abuses his sheriff status to force everybody out of the area that is not the drive-in, so they can watch the movie that is actually at the drive-in, through binoculars. Why?
Hey, this is great.
Normally I'd skip over scenes like this, but the fuck?
Shocking.
And then Bruce makes a move on Terry, which she rejects, but Bruce is not taking no for an answer.
Somebody help me! Somebody help me, please!
Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
I didn't say that.
What the fuck do you mean that wasn't you? You mean you're okay with that? Well, this movie's definitely not for today's standards. Okay, I'm just gonna sit back here and not even comment on what's going on up front, but when one of you are finished, could you consider liking the video and subscribing down below? It's actually another victim, which would be very inconvenient for Vincent, but luckily for him, she's passed out. Just passes out, because why wouldn't she? That, along with a pothole, means Bruce doesn't catch them, but it was still a good night.
Good night, Bruce. I had a real good time. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it was a real good night. Am I even allowed to talk about this? Well, I guess it's one erotic scene to the next. This one kind of fits in a bit better, in my opinion, but I do believe vandalism with a whip might get them kicked out. Or in this case, turned into meat.
With this stuff, you smell it, and we do the laughing.
Anyway, it becomes apparent the next day that Terry has no problem living there whatsoever. I guess she has no family, or anybody to even notice she's missing. And after Vincent leaves, she enters the slaughterhouse, because it's open, meaning it's time for another jump scare.
What are you doing in here, girl? You know what Vincent would do if he caught you.
This is easily talked down, though, as most irrational situations are in this movie, and the two go out tubing, because why not? This is accompanied by some background country music, which is kind of odd, and she tries to drown her, because I'm not completely sure. I mean, I think it's because she's jealous, but it's the only scene in the movie like this, and it never gets brought up again, so yeah.
Positively shocking.
And if you're wondering how she gets out of this, Vincent saves her. Kind of came out of nowhere. But that's okay, though. They just passed it off as an accident, and...
Kiss me.
Okay, we're going down that route now. Can't say I saw that coming.
We should be married first.
Yeah, that's a line he won't cross. Good to know. She responds to this by saying she wants to be alone, and then we literally transition into the marriage being arranged. So did some time pass that we didn't see? Bruce, on the other hand, isn't pleased about this and assumes he must have put a gun to her head. A bit odd to automatically think that about your own brother, but it's a good enough reason to break into the bathroom knowing she's in the bath.
Bruce, what are you doing?
That's your reaction. How well do you know this guy? Is this a common thing that he does?
Well, what about us? I'm madly in love with you. You can't marry Vincent.
Okay, it was at this point I had to go back and see if there was any history I didn't know about, but no. This is just normal, I guess. Vincent isn't too happy about this, and honestly, I don't know whose side I'm on. On one hand, you got Vincent turning people into meat, but on the other hand, Bruce is kind of a pervert who breaks into people's bathrooms, so it's kinda hard. We then see Ida putting something into Terry's drink, which is very obviously green, but it's not an attempt to kill her this time, it's just to knock her out.
She's out. Let's go to work.
And Vincent knows about this. I have no fucking idea why. I mean, they do go and execute those 3 band members, but they've been doing this stuff the whole time. It's hard to believe that's the reason. As for hypnotizing them first, I guess they're supposed to be humane? Meanwhile, Bruce actually does his job and investigates, finding some clearly sabotaged vehicles. Not exactly well hidden, though. You mean to tell me nobody saw them? So he goes to tell Terry about this, and it just so happens that at the same time, Ida takes a break from the meat-making process to get some food. Okay, I'm not completely sure what just happened, but I'm pretty sure he's not dead, so it's kinda dumb. So she takes her to the slaughterhouse, while at the same time, Bo manages to get free.
Isn't that convenient?
You'd think that would have happened by now. I mean, how long have they been doing this? He digs the rest up too, resembling a zombie invasion, not completely sure why, and Terry is no longer enthused about the family business. I'd say, why not pretend to be on his side for the time being, but that'd be kinda dumb, wouldn't it? He sends Ida to go collect Bruce, proving to be a bad idea. Okay, I know they're not really zombies, but they do behave like zombies, so maybe move away from them. Vincent tries to convince Terry that what he's doing isn't that bad, but she's not having that and tries to escape. Again, probably not the best idea, and I guess that's the last straw, so she must die. But Bo is here, meaning an epic battle awaits. Or not. Luckily, Bruce is here too, and he's not gonna deal with any fucking locks. Vincent's got a chainsaw, but Bruce has a plan. Attempting to use a shotgun as a bat, and failing, and then knocking him down with a pig's head. That's about right. But he's got a chainsaw too, and unfortunately, this is one of the less memorable things in the movie. You'd think a chainsaw duel would be the perfect climax, but it's just not shot the best. It's okay, but it could have been a lot better. He does get a critical hit though, and saves the day, Tarzan style, because why not? However, there is one twist I don't think you saw coming.
I used preservatives.
So to wrap things up, they find Ida buried upside down, and we finally find out why this fucking movie is called Motel Hell if the sign says hello.
It's an evil motel.
now it all makes sense. Well, that was Motel Hell. And it's fucking amazing. Anybody who's seen the movie knows it's not the kind of thing you try to critically rate. Doesn't make any sense. No. Do the characters behave in a sensible manner? Of course not. Is the movie entertaining? Hell yeah. If you're looking for something sensible, I'd advise you not to look under comedy horror. If they'd gone with the original idea of a more serious tone, then this would have been a lot different. Luckily that's not the case, as I think what we got is pretty damn satisfying. Granted, I would have liked a few changes, maybe at least explain how some of it works, but as for the unrealistic plot and the bizarre way the characters act, it just doesn't bother me. It's what you'd expect from this genre of movie. There are a few scenes that aren't that great, the ending was a bit disappointing, but as far as comedy horror goes, you can't really complain. I tried to at least mention every insane thing that took place in this movie, but in the end, there was just too many, so you'll just have to watch it and see. Is it a dumb movie? Probably. Is it so bad it's good? Well, in my opinion, it's so dumb it's good. And you know what? That's okay. I'm the analyst, and remember kids, yelling at little kids to calm them down is not a good idea. Vandalism with a whip is not allowed. Breaking into somebody's bathroom uninvited is illegal. And you know what? Just watch the movie. So, you made it to the end, an impressive feat indeed. Since you managed that, consider checking out the gaming channel, in which I cover a variety of gaming topics, like inept gameplay, and analysis videos like this one. If you want to see that, then press the link in the description. It's that simple.